Now, I do think that we are going to see one of the premier matchups that everybody wants to see when it comes to quarterback, duels in the future. You got Justin Herbert, you got Trevor Lawrence in a wild card game. They're the future of the NFL, and Herbert. I think he went out there in the first half. He looked okay, but where was he in the second half? Justin Herbert in the second half was, I hate to say it, he was some booty. He was trash. The second half, I don't know where he was. I mean, he went for the game. He went 25 for 43, 273, and one touchdown. Quarterback rating at 84, very marginal. I don't think he did anything that should say, hey, he is a solid, great quarterback. Oh, he didn't have Mike Williams. Stop, because if you trade that receiving core between the Chargers and the Jacksonville, you're going to take the Chargers receiving core. Right? You got Gerald Everett, you got Palmer, you got Parnam, you got DeAndre Carter, Keenan Allen. Even though Mike Williams is out, and you have Eckler, who's a reliable back out coming out the backfield. Of course, you take his arsenal of pass catchers at the backfield. The if you're going to trust Justin Herbert in passing the ball and not running the ball as much, you got to understand, like, he's not that type of quarterback. And we want Justin Herbert to be good so bad. We want him to be this great quarterback. We want him to make these plays. We want these quarterback duels that we had with Manning, we had with Rodgers, with Brady, with Roethlisberger. We want these matchups, but you can't want the matchups so bad that you're delusional to what's actually happening. What's actually happening is Herbert is just subpar, right? And I don't blame Brandon Staley. I blame Herbert, because we put these guys on a pedestal. Whenever you put a guy on a pedestal, like you can't want them to do good and then them go out there and flop. Justin Herbert, of course. Hey, look, he's still young. I think he's older than Lamar Jackson, but he's still young. He still has a lot of football left in him. But when it comes to that it factor, I think that's something Justin Herbert lacks. We talk about his passing yards in the regular season. We talk about how his big arm. We talk about his stature, but all that the things that we see in him that we want him to be good at, the things that we see in him that he has, like he has a physical build. When it comes to actual reality, he's marginal, right? He's basic. He's not this quarterback that we say he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Usually when we have these quarterback duels, when we have Justin Herbert versus Trevor Lawrence or whatever, it's a shootout. This was not a shootout. You didn't have one quarterback that passed over 300 yards. You had both quarterbacks had under a 90 quarterback rating. You had one quarterback that threw 4 picks. You had one quarterback that was master of the dink and duck. The longest pass that Justin Herbert completed on in this game was 25 yards. 25 yards. The longest that Trevor Lawrence completed was 40 yards. It's okay. It's not bad. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the play was, if there was yak or anything, but I think it was a good throw downfield. But this team right here it's not actually, no. He had a longer. That was the longest. No, that 25 yards was the longest that Justin Herbert threw. He was averaging 6 yards per throw. He was 25 for 43. 273, 1 touchdown, got sacked 3 times, a QBR of 45.9. Like, y'all talk about his stats, but when we talk about his stats and when it matters, he's basically average. The problem is they couldn't run the ball. And if you and where the good quarterbacks, the great quarterbacks, where there was no run game, your short passing game is your run game. And if your short passing game is off, then you don't expect to throw the ball downfield. And I think that was Trevor Lawrence's problem the first game. The first half, Trevor Lawrence, he trusted his arm a little bit too much. He made some mistakes, made some ill-advised throws. But other than that, the second half, I think he came back out. He was sharp. Justin Herbert relaxed in the second half. You can't say he's an amazing quarterback when they only put up 3 points. 3 points. So I think we get the level set with Justin Herbert and understand that, hey, look, there's a lot. Not saying he can't ever be great, but before we crown him as a great quarterback, there's a lot he needs to work on. He needs to work on understanding his pocket, when it comes to calling protections. He has to understand. Okay, the value of your short passing game. I think that he has to, be a little bit quicker in the pocket. These are small things that comes from just being experienced in the NFL. And we want to crown these guys so fast, but they're just not on the level yet. So Herbert, I think he has a lot, a lot of upside, but I don't think he's at that level just now that we put him on. So we'll see though.